Hello, and welcome to Deltek Costpoint's Project's Year-End Closing Process for Planning in Costpoint version 8.1 and later versions. By the end of this video, you'll understand the procedures needed to enter project budget data in planning. We will discuss the considerations for the planning module and finish with closing remarks. Though the calendar year update does not directly affect the planning side of Costpoint, it does contain important and necessary information for the accounts payable and people areas in Costpoint and is worth mentioning. Please note that the dates used in this video may reflect previous or future years. Project budgets do not necessarily need to be entered yearly. Check with the appropriate personnel if you are unsure about the status of project budgets for your new fiscal year. There are 3 areas that may be used to enter project budget information. The areas in the project's domain are budgeting and ETC and advanced project budgeting. The third option is in the planning domain, previously known as budgeting and planning. In this video, we are going to cover the budget process within the planning domain. The planning domain needs some extra attention when setting up for the new year. We will discuss these steps in the following slides. Update prior year history is very important to planning. If the prior year data does not exist in the prior year table, no actuals will be included for that year in reports. In planning, the date on your computer is always current period, so when January 1st rolls into your date, the previous year will immediately be treated as prior year. If the update prior year history is incorrectly run so that the future year or current year records now exist in prior year, you will get a prior year record in the planning PSR with a negative value, backing out the amount of those records. To correct this, these records will have to be manually removed from prior year cost and revenue in Costpoint. Query the records by fiscal year in the Manage Prior Year Cost and Revenue screen and delete them. Once the records have been removed from the Manage Prior Year Cost and Revenue screen, rerun the Update Project Status Report tables, and your PSR will no longer have the negative prior year line, reversing the impact of current period or future year costs. Planning uses the latest target rate available for current year and future years. However, it will continue to use the prior year's target rate for estimates and new budgets until the new year's target rates are entered in Costpoint and a refresh has been run. To enter new calendar year end dates, complete the following steps. 1. Enter the new future year into Costpoint with all the appropriate period and sub-period end dates. And 2. Validate that the period end dates are correct in the maintained fiscal year periods. If needed in your environment, please go to Planning Project Budget EACs. Enter or create the required budgets and EACs. When creating an EAC, validate that the end dates in the headings for the current year and future years are correct. In an EAC, both current year and future year end dates are available to be seen. This process can be completed at any time and for several years in the future. It is not a prerequisite for year-end processing. However, it must be completed for the new year before that year's organizational budget can begin or be reported. Also, the holiday schedule for the new year must be set up before any project budgets can be correctly calculated for that year as well. To complete organization budget cycle initialization setup, complete the following steps. 1. Complete the holiday setup for the new year, if not already set up for use in project's future years. 2. Clone the PTO pattern. 3. Clone pool specs from prior year or current year if completed. 4. Freeze employee specs. And 5. Clone or create your non-labor percent specs. All required sections in the new year must be green to be complete. Now that your organization has been initialized at the level of your org that you will be budgeting, you can enter your organization budget and create your outlooks. The budgets for the new year should be set up now if not already entered. These can be entered anytime, even prior to the close of the year. An example would be if your budget cycle requires that the organization budget be present and reported against as soon as January 1st, then the organization budget cycle initialization setup and budgets could be entered at any time prior to January 1st of the new year. This concludes the project's year-end process for entering budget information in planning. We hope you found this video informative and helpful. If you have any questions, Costpoint Customer Success is ready to assist. Call our Customer Success number at 877-457-7765. Thank you for viewing the video on Deltek Costpoint's Project's Year-End Closing Process for Planning.